Tunaendelea kutazama Citizen Debate tukiwa na wagombeaji kutoka kaunti ya Machakos, na bila shaka jumbe zimekuwa nyingi zaidi. Wengi wanatuma maswali ambayo wangependa yajibiwe, lakini kabla ya kuangazia maswali hayo kwenye mitandao, hebu tuangazie wale ambao wako mjini Machakos wanasemaje, wanataka ni nini ambacho kipewe kipaumbele na yule ambaye ataingia ifikapo Agosti tarehe 9.
Unapeleka mtoto hospitalini, unaambiwa uende ununue dawa, ununue gloves, na tunashangaa kwani hizi hospitali zetu kwa nini hazina vile vifaa? Tunaomba sana ashughulikie jambo la hospitali.
I want to see a recovery plan for all what we have lost and a recovery plan for the lost time. We have so many incomplete projects. Imeanzishwa, imefika mahali, imeachwa. So many. I want to see a governor who knows them and where they have reached.
Tumekuwa tukipata basari ya 800,000 per ward, na ukiangalia kama Matungulu East liko na sub location 6. Ukigawanisha unapata kila ward inapata 1130 na kuna watu wengi sana. So naomba governor mwenye anakuja, mwenye tunachagua watu wa Machakos, angalie sana mambo ya masomo, education.
Maji imekuwa ni issue, tuliambiwa tutaoga na shower, hata mfereji bado haijatoa shower. So sasa kitu nitaomba the incoming governors, if utatuletea maji, ikuwe ni maji ya kutuletea vizuri. Usitueleze maji na mwisho uanze kutuambia ilienda ikawa.
Unapata kwa na biashara, kama kuna biashara unjakata license, unapata unasumbuliwa hiyo biashara na askari. Na unapata kukata hiyo license, unapata hiyo pesa iko juu.
Upande wa barabara zote zimeharibika, zingine huwezi ukapita hata kukinyesha. Tungeomba governor ule atakapochaguliwa na wananchi wa Machakos County aturekebishie barabara.
Serikali yenye imekuwa hapo imetenga wanarika sana. Mambo ya sports hakuna kitu imekuwa ikiendelea. Wamejenga viwanja lakini hawajaweza kumalizia. Kwa hivyo tunaweza sema mambo ya corruption iliingilia sana kwa ministry ya sports.
All right, so those are the voices of some of the residents that you seek to represent come August 9th. Let me begin with you, Nzioka, in terms of, you've heard some of their concerns. What would you want to address once you come in, if you come into the governor position?
In terms of what they have said there,
in terms
or
of what
generally?
They have said.
I think the people of Machakos should look at me differently. Number one, I'm not a politician, and I don't have political biases, and I'm prepared to work across the board with all leaders, irrespective of what parties and what platforms they get elected with, because a governor is not a one-man show. He must work with all the leaders right up until the grassroots. Number two is that my integrity speaks for itself. I have no scandals, I have no cases, I have no mentions with any court process, any judicial process, anything whatsoever. Number three, my delivery record speaks for itself. I have sat and administered government projects at the highest level and successfully delivered for the president the most aggressive infrastructure program ever seen in this country since independence. So when the people of Machakos say that they want their roads improved, they want their business environment improved, they want young people's welfare improved, this is the administration that will be able to do it. Nzioka Waita and Florence Mwangangi. We have put a lot of emphasis in terms of an equitable government, one that shows the representation of women across the board, one that shows the representation of the elderly, the youth, and persons living with disabilities. So I firmly believe, Victoria, that this administration speaks to the hearts of Machakos people. The outgoing administration has shown itself to be incompetent and corrupt, which is why we still have these issues 10 years later after devolution. Machakos produces 3% of Kenya's GDP, 300 billion shillings, but yet we are ranked almost at the bottom in terms of our performance. Our on-source revenue collection is pathetic. Our pending bills is the 5th highest in the Republic. So there is a lot to be said.
Bimulwa, kuna maswala ya barabara ambayo yanajitokeza kwa kila mmoja ambaye anatuma ujumbe. Miriam anasema Masinga barabara hazipitiki. Mwingine anasema Mala Town barabara hazipitiki. Mwingine pia kutoka Syokimau, Bwana Yusuf, anasema barabara hazipitiki. Utafanyaje kuhakikisha kwamba kila mmoja anaweza kufika nyumbani na kurudi kazini?
Thank you very much for that question. I believe there is a big problem about the road network in Machakos. And I say this because I've gone round and it's very hard to interconnect sub-county to another one. You have to keep on going back. And the ones which are there are in bad situation. That means movement is very hard in Machakos. What I plan to do when I enter Machakos, I want to engage all the people of Machakos because they are stakeholders. And I'm going to do this by devolving all the services to the ward level, such that all the resources, the money we collect, the money we get from the national government, I'm going to take it to the ward level. That way, I'll make sure that all the contracts, all the tenders of roads are going to go to the ward level. That way, not only that, we are going to make roads concurrently. We don't want to do one ward and leave the other one. We are not just going to do one ward and go to the other one. We'll do concurrently. I'll buy the machinery. First, I'll find out whether the sitting government have got enough tractors, excavators, and machinery for doing the roads. If they don't, if they are there, they are not functionable, I'll make sure that they are repaired so that we can use them. If they are not enough, after stamping out corruption, because my government will make sure that it will be 100% zero corruption. I'll make sure that the money is used to buy new machinery so that at least we can make the roads. And it will be so easy because to make a road, you need ballast. And there are factories and there is good stone or ballast in Machakos. No. To make roads, you need sand. We are rich in natural resources in Machakos. Cement factories are in Machakos County. Our men and women there are willing to work. Only they lack opportunities and the capital.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Rose. Honorable Ndeti, let me come to you. A question here from James saying, we as Machakos people need a leader who will focus on Machakos County as a whole, but not concentrating on only Machakos town. For instance, the Governor Mutua built a White House which costed millions, but we could have used that money in drilling water and supporting education. Basically talking about misplaced priorities from the last regime. How different will yours be?
Before I get into that, I want to say, if there's anyone who understands the water system in Machakos, we have had dams, what being talked about. You cannot pull water from Yatta, from Masinga, and bring it to Yatta or Mwala, because there is a dam that is the government is already, the national government, there is a dam that is already being built in Masinga, in Yatta. The only problem that we are having, there is a court case. So we need to finish the court case so that we can have the dam, it's a mega dam in Mwala, through Athi Waterworks. Once we clear that, we are able to give water to Yatta people. If we go to Machakos, there is a dam that already the case court is finished. That dam is just a compensation of the people who are living around the area to be compensated, and then the work starts. So that is already done. And when we are talking about here, if there is anyone who has experience, who has done things and they have been seen on the ground, it is me, because the experience is there. Yes, we can have good manifestos, but where have you implemented any projects that to be seen, that you can that are tangible, that can be seen? I've worked in the national government also. I was the CAS for transport, infrastructure, housing, shipping and maritime. Okay, I supervised most of the government works in public works. And my work was to ensure that government projects are finished on time and within the budget. And I can assure you, within the time that I was the CAS for transport, we delivered with my minister, Macharia. And that is why you're even seeing the president commissioning most of the roads now. What I want to assure the people of Machakos, the money that comes to Machakos County, I am going to divide it equally according to the wards. No. Each ward will Each ward will get their money, and that money will work on their projects. Yeah, because if we don't divide the resources equally, then that is why you see other places. Your
time is up, Honorable Ndeti.
That's why you see other places being neglected.
Thank you.
Asante sana. Bwana Mudhama, tukizungumzia masuala ya barabara, tunaangazia pia kwamba Machakos inapakana na kaunti ya Nairobi, na tumeona barabara nyingi ambazo zinajengwa, mojawapo ikiwa hii ya hivi majuzi ya expressway. Je, wewe utafanya nini kuhakikisha kwamba unatumia huu karibu wa Machakos kwa Nairobi ili kuwafaidi wakazi wa kaunti hii?
Wacha nianze kwa kusema tu kidogo juu ya maji. Kidogo tu. Mimi mwenyewe shida ya maji inaelewa, na tayari katika kaunti ya Machakos nina boreholes 3 na hizi zinatoa maji bure kwa miaka rudi. Jambo la pili, ndugu yangu hapa amesema maji inaenda chini. Mimi boho moja yangu imechimbwa pahali nimenunua, ilichimbwa mwaka wa 1952, bado ina maji. Hii yao inaenda chini, sio inahamia wapi? Yote tuache hapo. Na shangaa Nzioka amesema mambo ya ngalalia. Ngalalia mimi ndio nilichimba. Angeanza na kusema asante sana. Nashukuru Mudhama kwa kutoa na kuchimba ambao mpaka sasa inaweza kutoa 20,000 liters per hour ya maji. Na tena hapo kunaweza kuchimbwa zingine 3. Wacha niguzie maneno ya barabara. Hivi tunavyoongea, mimi mwenyewe ninaelewa shida za barabara za Ukambani na Machakos County. Na ninasema Ukambani kwa sababu mimi nimezunguka county zote 3. Jambo la kwanza, kuna barabara aina 2. Kuna barabara za county na kuna barabara za serikali kuu. Ikiwa ile chama mimi ni mwenyekiti kitaunda serikali, mimi nasema hapa kwa watu wa Machakos nitapata barabara zile za serikali kuu bila pingamizi. Jambo la pili, zile za county nina njia ya kuzitengeneza. Na mimi nataka ninunue tingatinga 80 nikiingia kama gavana wa Machakos. 40 ni za kukata barabara zile tunaita feeder roads.
Okay.
Hii ingine ni ya maji, ya kujenga madimbwi ya maji na kufungia zile tunaita gabions. Hiyo kazi tayari nimeweka watu yangu chini, na wanaendelea kufanya tunaita feasibility study kunitayarisha ili nikiingia ni kazi moja kwa moja. Kwa hivyo hiyo ninabeba mkononi mwangu, ninaisoma, inanielea, ninajua njia ya kuitafunda na kuimaliza.
Thank you, Honorable Mudhama. Let me come to you, DG Maliti. The money question comes to you. And we heard Nzioka talk about the pending bills, which now stand at 2 billion shillings or so. Contractors are waiting to be paid. You will be inheriting that should you be voted in as governor. How will you address that issue of pending bills and contractors?
The reason why there are pending bills in Machakos County is because, one, the monies that are given to the counties annually sometimes do not flow as expected. There are delays. And most of you have listened to the governors, even at the Council of Governors level, and you find that by the time the year is closing, in the month of June, you have not even been given the disbursements for the month of May and June. What does that tell you? If you had already contracted people to do some work, you'll not be able to pay them. The money is swept back to the county revenue fund so that now it is paid in the next financial year. That becomes a pending bill. Two, the counties are not in unique circumstances. They are just like the national government. The national government, today we are talking of borrowing up to 10 trillion. 10 trillion. When we borrow, we have to pay. So even the counties, I want to say here, should be allowed now to start borrowing from the commercial banks, of course under very strict guidance, so that the counties don't overborrow. Because the reason is, the difference between where we are today in terms of socio-economic development.
Open a Pandora's box because already funds are not being managed very well at the county level.
I will explain. The difference between where we are sitting now in terms of socio-economic development and the aspirations of the people that we represent, there is a huge, huge gap. So you'll find most of the times you have to fix water, you have to put money in health, you have to put money in infrastructure like roads. Roads are very expensive. And coming to roads, if you allow me,
very briefly, because your time is up,
if I become the governor of Machakos, I'll have a different approach in construction of roads. Where we are doing grading of roads, I will ensure each road which is graded by the machines is marramed. Because the problem we have is that we do the grading, and immediately after the grading, when the rains come, the roads are swept because of the climatic change issues. There's a lot of flooding, so you do grading, and immediately after you have done grading, the roads are swept. So I will ensure that for every road that we grade, we marram it. because a marrammed road can live for 3 years. The other roads, of course, will find money for tamaking. We will partner with the national government and other partners so that we can ensure we tarmac the roads that are due for tamaking.
Asante sana kwa kwenu nyote kwa kuweza kutueleza yale ambayo mnapanga kuwafanyia wakazi wa Machakos. Tungependa sana kuendelea, lakini muda haunasi, itabidi tukomee hapo kwa sasa. Jumapili ijayo tutakuwa katika kaunti nyingine.
Thank you. Good night.